Hi guys, this is Scribbly again with another pen review, and today we're going to have a look at a fairly interesting pen that was sent to me by Osprey Pens, Abi Rao. Thank you very much, Abi. I contacted Abi and expressed interest in reviewing this pen because I think it's a super interesting pen, and fortunately Abi agreed on leaving me with one of those to have a look at. If you're interested in the pen, check out ospreypens.com. That's where you can get them. The pen that we are having a look at today is the so-called Osprey Milano fountain pen that comes in this fairly simple cardboard package here. Nothing fancy, but it does the job, which is what it should do. Now, as said, the Osprey Milano is a quite fascinating pen in very many ways. The version that I do have here is called Brown Ripple. It is, by the way, an ebonite pen. People really do like ebonite pens because they are very, very lightweight, and also the material has a fantastic feel to it because it really warms to the hand very, very nicely. That means when you have a colder room temperature, the pen won't actually get that cold, and in summer when it's a little bit warmer, the pen will not really get warm and slippery and all that. It's just a really fantastic material. So as said, that one here is called the Brown Ripple Ebonite, and as you can see, it does have black ripples, and then the ebonite material or the main color is a nice warm reddish brown. The pen is also available in all black. Then I think they have one in all teal. The fantastic thing about that pen actually is the price. The pen costs, and I can really say, just $60, because $60 for an ebonite pen is really an awesome price. Design wise, the pen really does look like those old vintage, now I'm not a pen historian, maybe 1920s, 30s, 40s rubber pens. It's basically a cylindric shape, and then it has this threaded end part here, which I find is more of a design purpose. Of course, you can post the cap to that end, but then the pen gets fairly long. So design wise, generally, as said, it's a cylindrical pen that looks like a vintage pen. Otherwise, there's nothing much to talk about. It's just a regular. There's no Osprey logo anywhere on here or something like that. This is just a finial, looks like that. It's also in this Brown Ripple Ebonite. Then you have a clip on here. This is actually the nice thing about that pen, by the way, is that you can take it completely apart. I'm going to show you that right now here at the top of the cap, because I got the pen without a clip, and I also got a Osprey Scholar, which is another pen that I'm going to review at another point in time. And so what I have done, maybe I need to get a towel to get that off. Excuse me. What I have done is I have just attached the clip of the Scholar to the Milano here, because you can, all those parts are interchangeable. So, right, if you want another clip, or if you're tired of this clip here and you want to have a clipless pen, that's what you're doing. Just unscrew that thing and you're good to go with a clipless pen. I just enjoy the pen with a clip, not to put it into a shirt pocket because it's way too long for that, but to put it in a pen pouch, or just to prevent the pen from rolling off my desk. So that's how you do that. And you can also unscrew, then we have the barrel continuing down there, the whole body of the pen with this fantastic, beautiful, slightly glossy material. I find with that, especially, the pen looks also great in black or in teal, but I find especially with this Brown Ripple Ebonite, it really picks up on that vintage pen theme that the whole pen design, if you ask me, has going on. And then you have the end part of the pen, which you can, of course, also unscrew, but I'm not going to do that now. And then you can post the pen, but as you see, it gets quite long. So there's no point for me in posting that, but of course, since it's screw on, it does post fairly securely. It also doesn't get very top heavy because it is ebonite, which is a very, very lightweight material. So you can, without any problems, write the pen like that. But I do most of the time actually write the pen like this because I enjoy seeing that part of the pen design. And yeah, the pen is just really long enough for me like that. Is a super nicely, very, very balanced pen. It's quite lightweight as said because it's ebonite, has a section that tapers down here and then flares out down there a little bit. Some threads here that are not sharp whatsoever. Very, very comfortable to hold, I have to say. This ebonite material is just really, really fantastic. It's a great pen. Has a large number 6 nib, and I'm coming back to the nib, talking about the nib in a minute, because it's actually also a modular system. You can interchange and exchange nibs, and I find especially the feed design very, very interesting. I don't really know how to describe that feed, sort of like a little wavery shape down there. You can see that for yourself, but I think that just like adds on to it really looks vintagey, like these vintage pen ebonite feeds. So I find it just really adds to the vintage character of the pen. Pen then unscrews like this, and does fill with a converter that Abi also does provide with those pens. I mean, $60 for an ebonite pen and a converter and all that is a fantastic price if you ask me. I think I have that inked with diamine blue black right now, I'm not entirely sure. But then again, and I'm coming back to that right now, this is a modular system, right? A nib system. Right now I do have a flex nib on that. Flex nibs are a little bit more ink thirsty, so the fantastic thing about that pen, it's ebonite, is that you can eyedropper that pen. So if you would like to fill the whole thing up with ink, maybe try to unscrew that back part here and try to seal it again with a bit of silicone grease just to be sure. Then apply some silicone grease here. Then you close the pen and you're good to go with your eyedropper, which I said for flex writing is fantastic because you have a large ink capacity. So now talking about the nibs. It's a number 6 nib as said, and as you see right now, this here has a noodler's flex nib on. There's no breather hole, a very large nib slit in order for the tines to be able to spread as wide as possible for the flex writing when you apply pressure. But then again, stay here, dear pen. There are a number of other nibs that you can get for the pen. Abi does make Zebra G flex nib inserts. This here is a regular Osprey fine nib insert that just basically just screws right here into the section. I'm not going to unscrew that now and change it because I've installed the flex nib because I thought it's more interesting for you to see. But and those extra nibs, they cost around $10. You can also get them in with the gold plating if you like gold color a little bit more than silver color. As said, you can get these Noodler's flex nib inserts. You can get these Zebra G nib inserts, and also I had a Diplomat does make Jowo nibs. I had a Diplomat nib installed on that pen because you can just like pull off. It's a number 6 nib. You just pull it off the feed and cram in any other number 6 Bock nib, for example, a Bock Titan nib if you want a Bock Titan nib. So you can really make that pen really yours and install any kind of nib onto that pen that you prefer. Just wanted you to show you that. Before we hop into the writing sample, a size comparison to my standard size reference pen, which is a Lamy Safari. As said, it's a fairly large pen. It's longer than a Lamy Safari, and when we uncap it, it's still longer and beefier than a Lamy Safari. And it's not exactly, it's basically the same length. When I look at it now, it's the same length. So I think we can say that if you're okay to write with a Lamy Safari, you should be okay to write with this pen. As said, I find it's a really fantastic pen. It lays really nice in the hand. It's quite lightweight. Really nice pen. Writing sample towards the end of the review. And now we're doing a little bit of writing with this Noodler's nib here. Now I try it in, of course, a little bit in the course of the review. Let's see if we get this to write again. Prime the feed, maybe a bit quick. Sorry for that. That does happen at times in reviews, that pens do dry up a little bit. So, feed primed again. Now that should all be good to go. Yes, so we are going here with the Osprey Milano, and those noodless nibs, they write just fine. Brown Ripple, Ebonite. As do those Osprey inserts. I don't know if that is Jovo nibs maybe. They also write just fine. But as said, you can exchange that nib for any number 6 nib that you may have laying around, a Bock, a Jovo, whatsoever. So the pen will write to your liking. And then, of course, everyone wants to see the flex of these noodlers, which is actually quite fantastic. You do have to apply some considerable pressure to those nibs. They're not as soft as a titanium nib or as a vintage flex nib. But they do actually provide you with some good line variation there if you're into that. I'm not a flex writer, as said. I just wanted to demonstrate that for you. So that does work very, very well, as said. You have to apply some pressure, but it works very well. But anyway, this paper here is cheap spiral bound notebook. So of course it feathers as hell. You need a little bit better paper if you do flex writing, because the pen will apply considerable amount of ink. But otherwise you can use that nib, flex it a little bit if you want to, this noodlers nib. But then of course normal writing is also very possible with that. Excuse my horrible handwriting on camera. It's always not so easy. So that's that with the review of that Osprey Milano. I really enjoyed that vintage nib design and such a modular pen, Ebonite, $60. Nothing you can do wrong with that. In my opinion, I think it's a really great pen for that price. I hope the review was useful to you, and I'll gladly see you at the next review. Bye bye.